All right, you're welcome to the sports segment here on the AM Show. I'm Benedict Owusu. Thanks so much for making time with us this morning. Well, today is exactly 17 years that the unfortunate May 9 Accra Sports Stadium disaster occurred, and over 126 soccer fans lost their lives in a stampede which happened during a league clash between Kumasi Asante Kotoko and Accra Hearts of Oak. Now, it's been described as Africa's worst soccer disaster. And then the then chairman of Kumasi Asante Kotoko, Herbert Mensah, is always leading a crusade to get support for the families of the victims.
I believe that the FA and the structures around the FA have taken it more seriously. So we are unlikely to get such a disaster again. Football is an emotive sport. We see it all over. We saw it Liverpool, Roma, we've seen it in other things where there's violence off the field, there's violence around. It seems to be the nature of the football supporters. We don't have that in rugby, which is funny. Huh? So I think they have. Have they done enough? They probably can never ever do enough, but now they are there to be judged. Every time that things go wrong, we know they're there to be judged. It happens with all sports administrators around the world. All I can say is that for those of us who experienced it, lived it, and have lived with families since, you really don't want it to ever happen again. It must be a guiding principle, but Ghana is not unique. Hillsborough, post-Hillsborough, there have been issues and problems. Even, was it last year, the Chelsea supporters in Paris? I mean, you wonder about the mindset of some people. And I think they have to keep striding. The administrators have to keep striding. And they have to keep appealing to the supporters. Look, abroad these days, I don't know how many marshals you have at football matches. They don't watch the football. They're just looking into the crowds. How many cameras you have positioned just in the crowds, looking for the troublemakers. And we don't have the resources in Ghana to go to that extent. But clearly we have to work harder. We have to work a lot harder. And I think we work a lot harder. We will never eliminate, but we reduce the chances of this kind of mindless violence that has occurred in the stadium.
All right, so that was former Kumasi Asante Kotoko CEO Herbert Mensah there. He's now president or chairman of the Ghana Rugby Association. Now, the Premier League board, that's the PLB, has revised the first round fixtures of the Ghana Premier League, and this is to pave way for Aduana Stars to clear all the outstanding games. So this is how it's going to be like Thursday, May 10, that's tomorrow. The outstanding game between Aduana Stars and Liberty Professionals will be honored, as well as Chelsea Elmina Sharks. That will be on May 13. And also May 20, another outstanding game will be between Mediama SC and Aduana Stars, and then we'll have the week 13-14, which postponed because of Aduana's engagement in Africa. All will be honored. Then on June 6, we'll have outstanding involving Aduana Stars and Ashanti Gold, as well as Aduana Stars Dwarfs. That will happen on June 13. And June 17 will be Wa All Stars, Aduana Stars, and then Aduana will take on Accra Hearts of Oak in their last outstanding game. So that's what is coming from the Premier League board. And yesterday, if you remember, we spoke to Tamim Muisa, who is spokesperson of the PLB, on sports today. Well, we have to move on and now look at what's been happening on the international scene. Well, yesterday was the day that Andrew Ayew and his brother Jordan Ayew, I made mention of how they should be at their best if they are to stay in this season's English Premier League. Well, they are not out yet mathematically, but their results with Southampton, which they lost by a goal to nil, also pushed one team out of the Premier League.